What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Steve Toski here of the Maize and Blue Review, here to bring you 14 plays of the defensive lapses against the Michigan State Spartans in the 37-33 loss this past Saturday, okay? Looking a lot at run plays. Obviously, those were the big ones. Kenneth Walker gets 5 touchdowns against Michigan to really be the difference. And what went wrong for Michigan's defense, that's what I'm diving into on these 14 plays. Real quick before we get the analysis started, please throw a like on the video, throw a subscription. We got past 100 subscribers. Let's get up to 200 here this week ahead of the Indiana game. I have another video coming in the next couple days, so if you could subscribe, really appreciate it. Comment on which play of these 14 most frustrated you, okay? Really interested to see which ones really irked you in this game, and upon rewatch, which one doesn't settle right for you. All right, if you're watching this, you're a crazy person, but I appreciate you. Catch you on the next one. Take care.
Behind Thorne. Play fake. Thorne rolls out, dumps it down near side, caught. Jalen Naylor.
First play of the game here, little flood concept on the play action pass. I think Michigan State messes up a little bit, right? You have Hayward coming in motion here. He's supposed to be going back out here. I don't think he was supposed to come this far on this motion, but regardless, the play action for Michigan State takes them this way. You have Mike Morris in here as their outside linebacker, so they're definitely going, obviously with the 4 down, they were bringing in Mike Morris, so it seems like they thought this was going to be a run lean in terms of what they were predicting here. So the main play action here, right, boom, you're going to boot around here for Thorne, and for their routes, you're going to have a cross route here from the tight end. He's kind of your third option. Kind of have a fade here from the outside receiver. This guy is the guy to pay attention to. He's going to fake like a little slant and then jut back out towards the sideline here, and this is eventually what gets thrown. So let's cycle through here just to show this sort of play action look. You can see obviously Michigan has the bodies for the run, but given that play action look, the main thing to pay attention to is DJ Turner at the bottom of your screen. Okay, doesn't seem like cover 2 to me. It seems like there's supposed to be some sort of pass off between Hawkins and Turner here. What it seems like is he's expecting this receiver to go across the middle here with his initial action, and because of that, he's following this vertical route. And what actually happens is, because of that, DJ Turner is going to slightly turn and start to run with this guy. You'll have Hawkins over the top as well, and then you'll have nobody to cover the flat, right? So it seems like because of that initial action from Naylor there, on that little slant, you can see there DJ Turner vacates, and the main thing, look at the eyes, right, for DJ Turner. He is not looking at the quarterback here. He doesn't realize that this isn't an actual crossing route, that this is going back out to the sideline, right? So the read for Thorne is first the vertical, see what that is looking like, and then he comes down to the flat, right? Sees that's wide open, and by that point it's too late, and that's an easy free 10 yards. So good play design. It's a good way to get Peyton Thorne comfortable here and executed pretty cleanly.
On the catch by Jaden Reed. Kenneth Walker back in the game. Thorne drops it off near side.
All right, so this is first of the tempo plays for Michigan State. So main thing to look at, they're snapping this ball with 36 on the play clock, which is really insane. That's just extremely fast. Obviously, they prepped for this. They recognize that Michigan tries to substitute quite often, right? You have Chris Hinton run off the field. You actually have 13 players here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 on the field for Michigan, okay? So this is the first time this happened in this game, first of a few times, quite a bit. This play actually didn't cost Michigan anything other than 5 yards, and they're lucky, right? Because here's the thing. Each of these plays, Michigan State understands where the substitutions are coming from. In this case, they're coming from this sideline, right? So the chaos to get enough bodies over to this side of the field, that's going to take extra time based on whatever substitutions are. So in each of these substitution plays, not only is Michigan State catching Michigan in a penalty, their concept of what they're throwing here is to attack the far side of the sideline here away from Michigan's sideline. That gives them the odds of catching maybe a defensive back in substitution or a deep play with one of these routes. At the very least, they'll have someone out of the backfield while the linebackers are still trying to figure out what's going on here, right? So that's a really smart way that Michigan State is catching Michigan off guard. Not only do you get the penalty, but you focus on the far side of the field away from Michigan's sideline and take advantage of that chaos that's going on between the Michigan coaches. So the first time this happens, and you actually see if this is better blocked and better caught, if Hayward gets a block here and this is caught, Walker's pretty much gone, right? There's a lot of open grass there. So the first time you give them a pass, okay? They're trying this rush package. That's, it's not fine, but, you can understand not calling a timeout. The further on this game goes, the worse and less excusable that lack of timeout becomes, okay? So this is an easy 5 yards, a free 5 yards, and Michigan's fortunate it didn't turn into something worse here.
With you. And the Spartans. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown!
Bounce for Ken Walker. Yes, it's a possible fumble. I'm not going to talk about that on this specific video. I'll have other video where I'll talk about the close calls, questionable reviews, things of that nature. Okay, let's talk about this actual play design. Okay, down block, boom, boom. Split flow here from this wing back here. He's coming here. Tackle's actually going to pull. He's going to double the nose with the center with the idea of getting off to the Mike linebacker here. Single block 67 on defensive tackle here, Welshoff, and then 11 is going up to Hutchinson here. Okay. This split flow guy, he's not going to find anybody. He's eventually going to work towards the safety. Okay, so let's just go forward. Look at the play design here. This is pretty well blocked, but it's well defended by Michigan overall. The thing I'd like to see, Welshoff, instead of getting upfield here, he should be pushing into and constricting this gap, right? Keep his outside arm free in this gap that he's in, but instead he gets upfield and gets laid upon, and he doesn't have gap integrity because he does that, right? That allows a big part of this cutback lane is because Welshoff does not, he completely vacates this play, right? He gets a little too greedy in the backfield there. But it's a good fill from Ross here, right? He's right here. Double team is stood up at least admirably here. So this forces Ken Walker to kind of form into behind this double team, nowhere really to go because Josh Ross is cutting this off, right? Welshoff does push him towards this, but then after he's able to kind of escape the grasp and go this way, then he gets to the second level, okay? And that becomes our second issue here. Where is Brad Hawkins going, right? He's confused on what gap he needs to fill. Really what he should be doing, he should be coming out here. This is his assignment with Welshoff here, especially because he vacates. This is obviously open area here. Dax Hill will be able to fill this if it does get outside of this initial gap for Walker, right? If he bounces, you should have the fill there for Dax Hill. Instead, what you're going to have, Brad Hawkins just goes to the backside for whatever reason here, loses contact, and Walker is gone. Okay, so multiple issues on this play. I don't really fault Hutchinson for going in towards the pile to kind of, drive and take it out. You could argue, yeah, maybe he should. His hips should be pointed this way, but he thinks the play is dead and trying to dive at that. The issue is more you don't have a safety flying down here to also react to this bounce here. So a couple things. Welshoff makes it bad initially by kind of diving out at this play, right? Not maintaining gap integrity there. You don't have the proper fill from Hawkins, and yeah, maybe you should have had Hutchinson there to keep his hips square and not run a little brazenly towards the pile, but the safety should be there to fill, and Hawkins just completely kind of vacates that. So multiple issues here that allow for this bounce to be possible, but it's a better play from Walker than anything else, honestly, in my opinion. So it is what it is. I'll talk about that fumble on a separate video. Potential fumble.
First and 10 at the 25. And it's Walker, breaks it outside. Walker gets a block. Walker on his feet. Walker finds.
Just a ridiculous run. I mean, Michigan does really well here. You got 5 down linemen here really for Michigan. Boom, 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 boom. Zone blocking from Michigan State, right? And this is Michigan just saying, we're going to be able to stand up to this double team here. We're going to have a free linebacker to plug any gap here. And Michigan wins on a lot of these battles, right? Mozzie Smith does admirably on this double team between the center and right guard here, not giving up much ground. There's supposed to be a release here out to the Mike linebacker to Josh Ross. That doesn't happen, and Ross is free, right? He's free to react this. Everyone maintains their gap integrity, right? There's nothing here for Walker to look at on this initial handoff. There are no gaps here. And Michigan, there's no push. So Michigan does its job. Pushing to the inside here is a good job from Michigan as well. That's going to force this bounce. And you have two guys here now. You have Josh Ross to flow here, and you have on the outside, you have Aiden Hutchinson, one of your best athletes here out in space. Of course, he's not an outside linebacker that he's kind of playing in this position, but you trust the athleticism of Hutchinson to make this work. So a couple issues. Hutchinson gets a little too aggressive, right? He goes way too far inside here. He has to trust that he's going to have Josh Ross right here to clean up anything here. And you should keep Hutchinson right here, right? Maybe make up a little ground, but stay square. Point your hips this way. Trust that your linebacker is going to make a play here and that the rest of your defensive line, if it's going to get out, it'll force him to the outside here and you'll have two guys. Another thing, you should have Brad Hawkins able to fly up here to the outside as well, right? You should have additional bodies flowing to this play to keep this in check. And instead, Walker shows why he's in the Heisman race, okay? I'm just going to be blunt about that. Josh Ross is there to fill, but again, look at the spacing right now between Josh Ross, who's appropriately in the right spot filling here, and Hutchinson. Not many people can make Hutchinson look silly in this scenario, right? You freeze frame this, almost any other guy, you'd expect Hutchinson to make this play. He is only slightly pointed this way, but that's enough. He should be possibly, maybe a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage here and pointed this way to ensure that nothing gets outside of him. Because his momentum is heading this way, that gives just a little bit of a crease there for Walker to jut to the outside. He does that. Then the only other thing, Hawkins is in a lot of open space here to potential of options that Walker has. Just doesn't make the tackle, right? One of the leading yards after contact running back in the nation right now is Walker, and that ankle tackle is just not going to cut it. So there's more Walker being good than anything else, but I think Hutchinson could have done better to mitigate this play a little bit.
He's averaging 8.5 a pop. They give it to him again, stretching it out. He breaks it back, breaks the tackle.
Just a kind of another gut punch for Michigan here, right? They have this pretty well defended. They're sending Josh Ross on a blitz. He's going to find his way, tracking it from the backside, looking at what Michigan State wants. Single block, single block. Center's going to have an odd first step. Then he's going to release to Junior Colson here. And then watch the left guard, especially here. He's going to work to the inside here to try to shield inside here. So it seems like, based off of what the H-back here is doing, he is taking a brief step and then he's releasing through the middle towards Brad Hawkins, the safety. Single block here on Hutchinson. The goal, it seems, is to follow this H-back through the A gap and up the middle here. Because Josh Ross is blitz here, this is going to blow things up, make it look more like a stretch play here for Walker. Ojabo does a good job keeping his outside arm free here, and that's going to create kind of this option here for Walker, or the decision that he has to make to bounce. So Ojabo does a good job seeing this, keeping his outside arm free. This is exactly what Ojabo should do, right? There's no option here for Walker to continue with this sort of play from Ojabo. So that's really good. Issue here, you do have good movement here. Mazi Smith, Chris Hinton getting blocked downfield. The center did get to Junior Colson, and you see the H-back now getting out to the safety here. Here's Josh Ross, right? He came through on the blitz. He's there, right? And he's just coming in too hot, right? You can understand this, and against 99% of running backs, you're going to be able to make that play if you're Josh Ross. This is the 1% of running backs, right? So he has a free shot here. Again, his hips are there. At this point, he probably should be slowing down, right? But again, he's watching the ball carrier. He doesn't know that he's about to be stopped by Ojabo, right? He doesn't know that. So that's why he's continuing on this trajectory here to cut him off here as he continues. Because of the elusiveness and the ability of Walker, he's able to cut back here. And now you have your issue where this play is actually well blocked, right? You have the continued blocks downfield of the linemen here for Michigan State on Mazi Smith, on Chris Hinton, on Junior Colson. This guy's releasing to the safety. And your only option now is a flow of R.J. Moten on the backside here. And no one else really wins off of their blocks here, right? So the play beyond those initial plays from Ojabo and Josh Ross on a blitz tracking from backside, it's well blocked from Michigan State, and they continue to block downfield regardless. So this is, again, Walker manufacturing his own yards despite Michigan having an RPS win with Josh Ross on that blitz and Ojabo playing well to keep it from outside.
And Thorne to throw it.
Absolutely brutal. Just absolutely brutal here. Can't have it happen. Can't have it happen. Man coverage, boom. Man coverage, Brad Hawkins here on the tight end. Man coverage here on the outside. As number one follows, Reed, you're going to have, sorry, that should be green. You're going to have DJ Turner following him, right? So if there's any sort of end around, he's responsible for that. Communication here between Dax Hill and Josh Ross on what's happening with Hayward here and the running back, okay? So those are their responsibilities. They need to communicate on what's the motion between these two. You're going to actually see after the snap there, Dax Hill pointing to the direction of the H-back, probably calling out that, hey, watch him flowing out, right? So there's communication there, but you can see the man coverage here from Brad Hawkins. He's correctly following here, right? If there's anything going to Jalen Reed, you're going to have DJ Turner going here. This is initially covered, but why is G-Man Green looking into the backfield? He doesn't need to be looking here. You have responsibilities elsewhere for everyone else on anything else that's happening with the running back, this guy, right? There's nothing that the quarterback is doing should influence G-Man Green's behavior here. He's trying to do too much. So beyond that, good pressure on the quarterback, right? Hutchinson recognizes, hey, this is a drop back, beats Hayward there, and almost gets a deflection on the pass, right? Millimeters away from that. Nothing really else to point to on the defensive line, right? This is all relatively well blocked. It's a quick throw. Hutchinson makes a good play to even get to the quarterback here, right? Forces a tough throw, almost affects the pass, throwing off the back foot here. And everyone does their job, right? You look at everybody else. You can see Hawkins appropriately following here. Ross had his eyes correctly here on these two guys. If anything was going on a handoff out here to Reed, you would have both of these guys to help force that to the outside, as well as Turner flowing here. So you had everything pretty much covered. Only thing that's not covered right here, this route, right? Seems like it's going to be a crack block, and G-Man Green's thought process is he's going to crack here. I need to replace to the outside. It's not his assignment, right? He's got to trust that he will have flow from the linebacker and that Turner will be able to clean that up on the outside as well to help out, right? Instead, eyes in the backfield for G-Man Green. He releases, and at this play, you're dead, right? Falls off the block for Naylor, and G-Man Green is caught, right? You would now have three guys heading out with this fake. That's exactly what Michigan State wanted. And that's a catch. You can't break on that, and I don't think we saw G-Man Green much after this play. Can't have it happen.
Michigan has struggled giving up the big play. They lose people in coverage, and here misaligned at the snap again. Flag on the play, Walker!
And this is the next play, right? Very next play after the big 4th and 1. And what is Michigan State doing? They're going back to their hurry up, right? They're going to snap the ball with about 30 seconds left. And the underrated thing about this, I don't know why Michigan is trying to sub here, right? This is as far away as possible to get subs in. It's on the right hash. The only thing closer would be if it's right here and not right here. But this is about as far away as you could be from Michigan's sideline to actually sub here. Hinton actually started running back, and now he's coming back here. So at the time of the snap, you have this guy. Then you have, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? So still 12 guys on the field plus an offsides if you want to even call that. And just can't have it happen, right? Why are you subbing in this scenario without the offense subbing, right? So in this scenario, the other aspect I said earlier on this play, or earlier in this game when Michigan State ran tempo, is they're going to run a play away from the subs as well, right? So not only are you guaranteed a free half distance to the goal line on this penalty, but look at where all the subs are, right? Take a midline down the center here. You got 3 defenders here to guard against 1, 2, 3, and 4 blockers, and that's just a losing strategy with this much space to cover, right? For Michigan not to call a timeout here is pretty bananas. After a huge play like that, you see what Michigan State's trying to do. There's no excuse, right? There's no excuse. For the play design itself, it's really simple, right? You're just going to have a simple block here on the end. Tackle's going to release. You have the H-back releasing. One-on-one with the wide receiver, and you have one more blocker here. You're actually going to have more blockers than you need to the outside. Right guard picks up the defensive end, the only guy really in position here. H-back here is going to pick up Josh Ross. Right, boom. Right tackle has nobody, and then you got one-on-one blocks here, boom, boom, and it's a walk into the end zone. So, again, for Michigan not to call a timeout here after already seeing this strategy for Michigan State is pretty bananas. I don't get it. So, not great. That's about as bad of a 1-2 punch in this play that you'll see, or in this game that you'll see. And, yeah, no answers for you on this one.
Thorne lobs it up. Caught.
Just a ballsy call, right? 4th and 4. Michigan's up 30-14, right? Late in the third quarter, you get this stop, you get the ball back. You're feeling really good if you're Michigan up 16, right? This is probably one of the biggest plays for Michigan State in this game. Looking at the routes, you're just going to have a crossing route here on the outside. This guy, I believe, does a dig route here. Let's go forward and back. I might have mixed that up. Nope, that's right. Crossing route here. This guy's going a little bit deeper here. Simple fade here. Jane Reed, this gets thrown, and then a little hitch here. Okay, they must like this matchup. If you're Michigan State, they like Dax Hill on Jane Reed. This is their best wide receiver, especially with Naylor out. They like Dax Hill in this matchup on this fade. With a struggling quarterback, you know, Peyton Thorne generally been good this year, but he was struggling in this game. I think if you're Michigan, you take this, okay? For the coverage here, or for the pass rush, I should say, you got Hutchinson. Blitz here from Ross is going to be tried to be picked up from the running back here. He does get around it, but by that point, it's a little bit too late. And then 2 here. These 2 are dropping. You're going to have Hinton dropping here. This will partially cover this crossing route initially and provide enough time for the pass rush to get there. But this is all the way going to this fade, right? You have Brad Hawkins, single high safety. That's why he's releasing over here to the center of the field here. But you just have man coverage on the play side here. So, as I mentioned, pass rush is close to getting there, right? You got Hutchinson applying pressure. He's probably, around 8 yards, 9 yards depth there. So he's getting around there. Good Olay here from Josh Ross, getting around the running back, trying to cut him here. So he does get around. Because this is just kind of a 3-step drop, right? 1, 2, 3 throw. Pass rush is never really going to get there, even if you had a free blitzer. So it's relatively thrown pretty quickly here. So Dax Hill, not the worst job here, right? You could argue he probably should get a little bit more depth on his back pedal here, but he does have to take into account a possible slant here, right? So that's why he's not committing just yet, and now he's going with it. So it's not the worst coverage, right? With a struggling Peyton Thorne, you got to feel pretty good if you're Michigan at this point. Sure, he has a step, but this ball has to be thrown really well in order for Jane Reed to catch that, and it's thrown about in the perfect spot, okay? So this is a play where you kind of tip of the cap to Michigan State, having the balls to go for a fade with a quarterback that's, you know, admittedly struggled up until this point. And they go for the fade. It is their best wide receiver against Dax Hill, who's probably a future NFL corner, and you simply can't place the ball much better than that, right? So credit where credit is due. It's a ballsy play, not an easy throw. Decent coverage from Dax, right? You'd like to see his hand get a little bit higher in there between the arms there of Jane Reed, but he is there. But yeah, this is just a better play by the offense, and, you know, give credit for them for executing.
Thorne to throw it. Thorne back in the end zone. And
2-point conversion, and yeah, they get it. Make it a 1-score game. All right, let's look at the routes here. Kenneth Walker out of the backfield, just heading out to the flats here. You're going to have 2 kind of stick routes here, or whip routes, I should say. Tight end here, he's going to go like kind of a slant, then he's going back to the sideline. Similar deal on this outside wide receiver. He's going here, back to the sideline. And then these 2 gentlemen are just kind of running cross routes here. This guy's a little bit deeper on the outside. Okay, so you got man coverage, boom, boom. Junior Colson right here, he's responsible for the running back. Man coverage here, and who has the tight end man coverage right here. Okay, so you're manned up all the way, and that's kind of what you get here. Josh Ross, I don't know exactly what he's doing. He's just kind of sitting in zone, it appears here. Maybe he's on a QB spy, hard to say, but it looks like he's just trying to get into the path of Thorne. So Thorne is initially looking right here. This does not come open. His next look is going to be across here towards one of the crossing routes, inside out there. Boom, finds what he likes. So coverage is generally pretty good, right? Everyone at this point is well covered. Good job from Junior Colson recognizing this. Hawkins, I think, is right here. This is DJ Turner. Good coverage on the outside up here. So everyone's covered pretty well. Pass rush isn't really getting there. Only 4 on the pass rush. You keep 5 in for Michigan State. Ojabo may be getting held right here, right? You see this hand on the back of the numbers here. Probably could have gotten called. I'm not going to go through every potential hold. I believe every play probably could have some form of holding, and that goes for both Michigan and Michigan State. This one, though, probably could have been called. Otherwise, Ojabo, a swipe away there from getting a hand on the arm of Thorne there. But besides that, pretty clean pocket for Thorne. So looking at the actual route that gets thrown, not the worst coverage, right? Dax Hill is here. They keep going back to Dax Hill right on that fade on the last play. Now on this one, just enough separation here, though. And Dax Hill just loses contact. You can see right here, he kind of just loses contact a little bit. And that's enough space on this crossing route, right? A lot of open grass for that wide receiver to run to. And he reacts a little bit late too, right? Here the ball is in the air. He should be diving right now to try to break up that pass. He has to take 1 or 2 additional steps before he could do that dive. And his arm is just late trying to disrupt that pass. So give credit to the wide receiver right here, right? Kind of getting a little bit of separation there on Dax Hill. Everyone else did their job, but it's just a case where wide receiver just got separation. Makes it a 1-possession game.
Harold Joyner in motion out of the backfield. Thorne drops it down. Caught. Reed, can he get the first down? Yes!
Good second effort there from Reed, and I honestly just don't really know what I'm looking at here, right? Because it seems like Michigan doesn't expect this play at all, right? You only have one defensive back over here. You're having Dax Hill vacate here to half of the field. Brad Hawkins going to this half. So it seems like a cover 2 look based on that. I'm a little bit at a loss here because you have RJ Moten over here, but off the snap, let's just kind of move forward the film. You can see he's looking over this way, right? His eyes, he's expecting something to come across here, right? That's the only way I can rationalize this, because otherwise, why would you leave just these 2 guys out here free, right? Both of those wide receivers here are off the line of scrimmage. So say this guy was up on the line of scrimmage, that would make him ineligible if that were the case, right? So in an empty set, now with the running back out here on motion, right? In an empty set, if this guy was on the line of scrimmage, that would make him ineligible. And that could help mitigate the lack of bodies over here for the screen pass that gets thrown. But that's not the case. He's an eligible receiver. He's off the line. So I don't know what Michigan is thinking here, right? At the catch right here, this is a free amount of yards. I guess maybe the thought process is that they haven't shown this on film. You're expecting something to come across, and that's why RJ Moten here is dropping into the center of the field here for that. But it seems like Michigan State's just given free yards based on this alignment. That's just my take from this. I don't know exactly what the coverage is, but that's what it looks like, right? And Michigan almost makes it, right? They do almost get there. So maybe this is a bet that, hey, he's not going to be able to get 10 free yards here. And Michigan does have bodies flowing down to this, right? Beyond that, it's just Reed making it happen, right? You should have this play dead, right? You have it at 3 yards before the sticks. Not able to wrap up appropriately. Josh Ross should be able to hold him. He goes a little bit high here instead of going at the hips, right? Why is he going at the shoulders? Go for the hip. If he goes at the hip here, he's going to drive him back, right? This is wide receiver against a linebacker. Instead, he goes up towards the shoulders, and going up towards the shoulders, that gives this fold back an option there for Reed, right? We can't see that shin, but it sure looks like it's up at this angle, but who knows, right? So there you go. There you go. He gets the first down on that second effort there on 3rd and 10. So just odd alignment. Seems like this wasn't something that Michigan was expecting for whatever reason, despite all that open grass. It is a good job from DJ Turner here fighting off of this block, so give him some credit for fighting off of this to help kind of force Jane Reed to make a move there, right? So good job from Turner fighting that off. He helps cut down a potential bigger gain by his play there, but not able to secure the tackle, right? He wraps them up. If Josh Ross goes a little bit lower here, this isn't a first down, but unfortunately, it is.
Michigan State quickly to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 3. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Walking him down.
All right, another quick play here. Look at the play clock at 32. This is snapped, right? So super quick play clock again. It does look like Michigan is set here. So I'm not going to say that the tempo really affected this play. This is just a stretch right, okay? So boom, boom, boom. You're going to have 76 on defensive end. 75 is going to assist before getting out to Josh Ross here, who's falling to the play. And then 97 has a key block here on Jalen Harrell. Handoff to Walker out this side. Hayward is blocking the safety. Dax Hill right here is going to be flowing to the outside, okay? So that's the play design. Everything backside is just don't let anything through. Okay, that's the whole point for the stretch play. Don't let anything backside and front side. 2 main things we need to look at here. Okay, so first thing, cannot be doing this if you these are 2 main blocks really, 1 and 2. Okay, if you're Chris Jenkins, you can't be coming upfield like this. You just can't. You need to be blowing back into this lineman, right? Blow him up this way. You know this is where the play is going. Maintain contact here and keep your inside arm free. Even that's okay, but don't try to go upfield. This is a stretch play. He can keep bouncing, right? He can keep bouncing. So that's issue number 1. He tries to cut upfield too much. It's a good attempt, right? But you'd like to see him maintain contact with 76. He has him off balance, right? He does a good job with this initial punch. He's beaten this block. But if he just maintains contact, continue pushing into this, right? Look at this guy's footwork. He's done. He's toast. You cooked him. Keep it going. Keep pushing into him. And the worst case that's going to happen, you're going to push him over, and then you can always cut back. You'll have help backside, right? You know he's a bouncer. You know he likes to cut back, but you should have help. Trust your teammates in that scenario. So he doesn't, right? He undercuts that after he gains the advantage, undercuts it, and that allows Walker to keep going, right? He doesn't continue on that block here. Another aspect, Jalen Harrell cannot be doing this, right? He does have outside contain here. So he's going outside this gap. 97 is coming out to block him. He has to keep his outside arm free, okay? Because he's trying to do that, he goes outside too much, okay? As soon as he sees what 97 is trying to do here, he needs to be coming up and attacking 97. Attack this block, right? Don't let him get to you and then try to fight around it. You need to attack that block. Take it on full on. Look at his footwork, right? He stops right here. He's shuffling. 97's momentum is running right into him. And then look how he's accepting that block. This is no way to fight a block, right? He's wrapping around the head of this block. There's no way he has any sort of leverage. He's accepting that block, right? He doesn't take that on, use any of the technique he's probably been taught. He is taking that block, accepting it, and now he's on a ride, and that's a key block in this play, right? Combine that with the attempt there from Chris Jenkins, and that's what creates this hole. So I think it's more on Jenkins for not attacking 97 here on the outside. That creates a lot of extra space, right? Otherwise, say he does attack this. If he attacks this right here, Walker has to either continue to bounce where he should have outside help, or in that case, you'll actually have Chris Jenkins here able to make the play. So the combination of those two things happening is what makes this possible. And then finally, a poor run fit there from Hawkins, and Walker's gone again, right? Just not even close to a good tackle, and Hawkins having a rough game, okay? And one other aspect, I'll point it out because I think it's valid in this case. A couple holds you could probably call, right? Josh Ross right here, probably getting held, right? I am, again, of the mindset that there's a number of holds in any given play, whether it's Michigan State, but this looks like a hold on the shoulder right here. This looks very similar to the hold that was called on Angelo Anthony against Michigan on the outside here, right? Both arms to the outside, definitely grabbing outside of the shoulder pads there. So that's another one. And then finally towards the bottom of your screen right here, right? You could probably call that a hold as well. So this is a combination of, yeah, probably a couple holds that could have been called, but then also just some bad play, right? It's a valiant effort here from Chris Jenkins. to break through here, but he had this one. If he continues to push against this, he helps create this play. Jalen Harrell got to attack this block a little bit better, and that would also help create this play. Add those two mistakes, a bad safety fill, a couple missed potential holds there, right? And you're toast. And all of a sudden it's a 2-point game. So add all those things up, and that's a pretty bad formula to giving up a touchdown.
Run. Dorn lobs it. Caught. And they get it. And we are level.
2-point conversion here. Okay. So, yeah, this one, they motion into kind of this weird 4-man formation on this left side here, kind of show this little screen, right? This guy's facing towards the quarterback. This all was to get one-on-one coverage here on the far side here between DJ Turner and Jayden Reed. Jayden Reed's just going to do a simple kind of out route. It's kind of like just a throw up and, one-on-one battle on the outside, right? So no real pass rush, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just a quick throw. It's going there all the way. That's the play call here, okay? So this is something that's a little tricky, okay? Because right here, they're probably saying, okay, this is a catch. And this is where the rule book comes in. I was only going to cover this on the other play, but because at the end of this play, you do see DJ Turner come up with the ball. So they must think that is a secondary motion, okay? That boom, he has the catch, right? He still has the catch secured, and by that point, it's over, okay? I'm going to bring up a little snippet of the rule book, and it says, if a player goes to the ground in the act of catching a pass with or without contact by an opponent, the player must maintain complete and continuous control of the ball throughout the process of contacting the ground, whether in the field of play or in the end zone, okay? So it's a little long-winded, I'm sorry, but this is where, again, it's a judgment call. When does he complete the process of the catch? At this point, it seems like there's still movement on that ball, right? You do have DJ Turner fighting at that moment. If we go by that rule, right, I should still have it on the screen, they're still fighting to the ground, and this is still, to me, the process of the catch. They're still arm fighting. This is still the process of the catch. And can you say that he secured the process, right? The play stood as called, I believe. It cut to commercial before we actually knew, right? But is this enough right here? 1, 2, boom. Can you definitively say this is a catch? Is this ball still moving, right? I would say say that Jayden Reed dropped the ball right now, that would be called incomplete. So I think this is still in the process of the catch. I don't think it's definitive enough to say that he had full control and now the play's over. It seems like they're still fighting for that. And at that point, DJ Turner comes down with the ball, right? It's kind of shocking I didn't see more discussion about this. But to me, the rule book states kind of like a judgment call here of he's going to the ground, trying to complete the process of the catch. Seems like that ball was still moving at this point, and this process is still ongoing to the ground still, okay? I understand I'm biased. Maybe an unbiased person can weigh in here. I would appreciate that. But in terms of the play design, right, this motion to this bunch formation was just to get one-on-one coverage. It is a well-thrown ball. Good job from Jayden Reed going up, getting that. I think it's a well-fought ball by DJ Turner. And again, we're at this kind of 50-50 judgment call. Did he secure the catch? Did he not? Is this after, right? Is this stealing away a part of securing the process of the catch? Again, these are all things by the rule book. It seems like you have a case if you're Michigan, but again, I'm going to say this, and people are going to say I'm a homer. I'm just bracing for it, okay? So anyway, doesn't matter because they call a touchdown, play stands, whatever, and now it's a tie game, and you just gave up a 16-point lead. So it's tough pill to swallow.
Coordinator.
They pull a couple of linemen around and just hammered it up the middle.
And they'll stay on the ground.
The numbers.
Substitution. Defense, more than 11 players on the field.
So the play doesn't really matter. It's, again, the concept of Michigan State running a play against the substitutions that Michigan is bringing, right? Michigan is bringing in subs right here, so Michigan State is appropriately going away from the direction of the subs. Luckily, it's bottled up here. This is the first unsuccessful tempo play at 34 seconds here this time, where they still get the penalty, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? So there's your penalty. The play doesn't go for any gain, but that's not really the point, right? It sets you up at 1st and 5. And at this point, there's 5:35 left in the game. So this is what, third or fourth penalty? Third or fourth time that Michigan's been caught in this scenario. And with the field position, 1st and 5, with how well Walker's running right now, how much they've kind of whittled down Michigan's defense in the fourth quarter alone, that's just a huge win with a five easy yards there. So, yeah, no one else is on the play, just the situation itself and how Michigan State, not only from early on this game, but even towards the end where Michigan has all 3 timeouts here, probably a misstep to not try to use those to stop Michigan State from getting an easy 5 yards here, right? Debatable whether or not that value of the timeout in this instance is worth it or not, but can't believe it happened this late in the game still, and that they didn't learn to not substitute when Michigan State was, looking to do tempo like this. So inexcusable, right? Can't happen, and continued to throughout this game.
Here's the give. Walker! Kenneth Walker!
5th touchdown of the day for Ken Walker. Let's look at the play design here for Michigan State. They're pulling the right tackle here. He's going to be doubling Jeter here along with the center. 1 block here on Welshoff, and then single block, and the goal is for Walker to go right here. Okay, so this is, again, a poor safety run fit as well as Ross picking the wrong hole. Okay, so he has to trust that his defensive tackle here is going to be able to take on this gap, and this gap should not be his responsibility. You should have a safety flowing down to help this as well as some outside help here if needed from Hutchinson. So Ross here is fooled by Walker. Walker does a nice job, okay? So I don't want to discount Walker here, but he sells attacking this hole, and that's going to suck Ross into this B gap here, right? Or A gap, backside A gap. So that initial step there, right, for Walker, that is what gets Ross out of position. As a result of that, you can see the play design is all along out of this double and out of this block. Look at the hips, right? The hips are turned this way to wall off here. This is creating this lane. So Walker is just being smart here, attacking this, getting this linebacker to commit to backside A gap, boom, hits this hole really smartly, right? So nothing you can really ask of Ojabo. He's crunching down a little bit here. He, again, has to be worried about any potential bounce, so I don't fault Ojabo for not making a play here. Ross just chooses poorly, and again, here's another poor run fit from a safety, right? Not able to get really any substantial hit there, and give credit to Walker. That's what he does, right? He breaks tackles, but safeties coming down in run support really bit Michigan quite a bit. It makes this from a 10-yard gain to a touchdown, right? And in this game, that's all Michigan State really needed was the safeties to be failing to make these tackles, and they're all touchdown saving tackles if they're made, and they were not. Okay, so that's a big aspect as well. One other thing, again, you can call holding in just about every play. Okay, I'm going to reiterate that. I would say probably the same, or you could say the same if Michigan was on offense, but this is not legal. All right, that seems like a hold when you can see a guy clotheslining. That's a center Allen, and he actually takes him down, right? Arm fully around the neck here on Jeter. That can't be allowed, right? I mean, I'm not crazy. Would it have affected this play? I don't know. Seems like that double is getting home anyway, but you just can't do that, right? So it's frustrating to continually see that play over play. Again, Michigan did not play well enough here to win this game. So these calls, while I'm calling them out or potential missed calls, Michigan State still blocked this play relatively well despite that, and Michigan did a poor job, to also not make the play here. So that's what you get, and Michigan State pulls ahead with this touchdown, and obviously that'll be the last score of the game in this one.